We are still in the building phase of Elk Horn Coal Corporation with the formation of towns it would have under its jurisdiction. Today, we will be talking about the post offices that were established to distribute the mail. We will also discuss the housing deals made for the coal miners and their families and how everything about these deals were not completely legal. Then we will begin to see the first tremors of trouble as Elk Horn Coal Corporation begins to move its offices. All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger time machine to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. The post offices. On December 1st, 1915, Elk Horn Coal Corporation took control of the mines that were currently being worked under Elk Horn Mining. But there was no confusion as to what to call these places that were being mined and under new construction. There had to be a way to deliver the mail to the offices in those areas. So the solution came in the form of making small post offices. Let's begin with the example of Allen, Kentucky. There were letters coming in for Wright Beaver Creek at Steels Creek. They were addressed at Camp Steels Creek, Allen Post Office, or Watsontown, Allen Post Office, or Wayland, Allen Post Office. While general delivery is not a new concept, we are pretty sure that there were boxes of mail that was coming through Allen each day addressed in this manner. A courier for the companies would be sent daily to the Allen Post Office to collect the mail. Then, the courier would take the train or horse up to Stone Coal and Steels Creek to hand out the mail. Now, this was not only business mail, but also mail to the men who were working in the mines. So this would be a massive amount of mail that was being discussed. On May 18, 1914, Wayland was established as an official United States post office. It was named after Clarence Wayland Watson. The easiest way to think about Wayland Post Office is as a district hub. Not only was the post office used for the needed correspondence between the coal offices and for the coal miners who were working in those areas, but it also handled the mail for the engineering offices maintained at Wayland, Fleming, and Wheelwright. This post office also handled the mail for the Elk Horn business offices. That included lawyers, bankers, and officers who had family homes in other states. All of this mail was transported by its own power by train to its destination. Fleming was established by the Elk Horn Coal Corporation in 1913. The town was named for the coal company's first president, George W. Fleming. While the mail was first taken to Wayland, it was distributed at the coal offices in Fleming until there was a post office established for the township. The little post office finally closed sometime in the early 1980s through 1990s. The town itself was merged with Neon, Kentucky in 1977. Wheelwright was established by Elk Horn Coal Corporation on February 6, 1917. The town was named for company's president at that time, Jerry H. Wheelwright. The post office for Wheelwright was established in 1916. Now, there were other post offices in towns that were created by Elk Horn Coal Corporation. Kona was already established, but they did open mines in the area. Some of the other towns are Garrett, Drift, McDowell, Millstone, Marlborough Creek, Republic, Estill, Hayman, Dean, and Hemphill. We are pretty sure that there were others, but this is the list that we could currently find. The building of houses. The following is a retelling of our previous video and article, A New Style of Home for a New Industry. But we did not retell the whole video and do encourage everyone to view the video or read the article for more information. The Consolidation Coal Company and Elk Horn Coal Corporation had big plans for this region and had multiple problems to solve. The first of these issues is food and housing. The area was sparsely populated, and the only housing consisted of a few log homes scattered here and there. This meant that in addition to shipping in the workers and the support crews for the construction project, they would also need to import the workforce and support crews for the coal mining operations. In addition, they would also need to provide housing for both workforces and their families. The Consolidation Coal Company contracted with the Nikola Construction Company of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to design and build a total of 7 towns and 2 divisions. Although the primary buildings in Jenkins were to be constructed of brick, there would be many buildings constructed using wood lumbered, milled, and cured on the site. This included 1,000 homes and other vital buildings in each division. As they would oversee all of the construction of the houses and other wooden structures built in the area, the Nikola Construction Company brought in thousands of men to do the job. At that time, most buildings were constructed using the pole framing method. This was done primarily by setting upright poles into some form of foundation. The walls and roof were then constructed, after which the floors and ceilings were added. While cheap, fast, and easy to construct, these buildings were not very sturdy, and to construct a second floor is labor and material intensive. Quite literally, the buildings is only as strong as the poles around the outer walls of the first floor are built. For a second floor, this building method works best if the outer walls of your building are constructed using logs, stone, or brick and mortar. But the Nikola Company did not have the men or materials to construct the number of buildings needed for the mining operations to begin in that time frame, nor the specifications given to them by Consolidation Coal Company had made it clear that the railroad would be arriving on both rivers in 2 to 3 years. By that time, there needed to be enough housing and support buildings finished for them to start mining. Nikola turned to a Pennsylvania architectural firm for help. In the box frame housing style, the house is built like a box. A foundation is first set and leveled, and then the floor or platform is built first. Then, the walls and ceiling are added, making a construction of a box. With this method, each inner wall increases the overall strength of the box. A second floor is added in much the same way, by first constructing a floor or platform on the ceiling of the room beneath it. Because they are so sturdy, this type of construction allowed for almost unlimited stories. Just like a stack of boxes, each story sits on top of the last one, and the roof is built last before the inside is finished. It is the type of construction that we have to this day and is now known as platform framing. This method of building has proven over time to be a very efficient way of building. Each building would take 1/4 of the time in which it took to build a pole-framed house of the same size, and each new house or building would be 10 times sturdier. Because of the deal that Consol had made with John Mayo, the houses had some specifications never seen in a typical industrial camp. Most camp houses were typically nothing more than shanties, but the houses Nikola was to build for Consol were to have a fireplace, closets, and a kitchen equipped with a cook stove and pantries. In addition, each house would have electricity and a covered porch. The houses would also feature a modest yard for gardening and a private outhouse. By the 1920s, most of the houses would have running water, but the outhouses were still used for years. Where were the houses built? Now, we're going to dive into one of the shady deals between Elk Horn Coal Corporation and the Consolidation Coal Company. This very act led to a huge scandal later on. How it worked. Because Elk Horn Coal Corporation was considered to be part of the Consolidation Coal Company, money flowed back and forth between the two companies. They really were not kept separate where money was concerned for building. During the multi-million-dollar construction of the coal towns in eastern Kentucky, Elk Horn Coal was used to help fund the deficit to get them completed. We see examples of this when the missing houses come into play. Consol had a contract with Nikola to build 1,000 houses in the Jenkins area and an additional 1,000 houses in the MacRoberts area. The Jenkins area, which included Dunham and Burdine, did indeed have 1,000 coal camp houses built. MacRoberts also had a company divisional office building and superintendent home that was never used. There was no superintendent, but there was a head foreman for the coal mines in MacRoberts who did live in the home. They also built a building in Fleming that was a company office, bank, post office, and company store. MacRoberts had 600 houses within its borders. So, where did the other 400 houses go? Simple answer. They were built in Fleming, Hemphill, and Heyman. Now, for those scratching their heads here, Fleming, Hemphill, and Heyman were located on Elk Horn Coal Corporation, not Consolidation Coal Company land. Legally, this should not have happened. All 1,000 houses should have been built on Consolidation Coal Company land. And then another contract should have been signed to build the other 400 houses. This very act would cause a huge investigation and a huge legal issues in the 1950s when we come to the Elk Horn Coal Corporation bankruptcy case. Trouble begins. The majority of those that financed the Elk Horn Coal Corporation were now making lots and lots of money. Unfortunately, this would prove to be a very unsound investment. We can see the first trembles of the collapse to come with the movement of the main offices. When the company was first formed, the meeting places, powerful financial backing, and the addresses of all three development companies were situated in New York City. For unknown reasons and date, Elk Horn Coal Corporation moved its main offices to Cincinnati, Ohio. This was again relocated in 1942 when the main office was reestablished in Charleston, West Virginia. We can surmise that the first movement of the offices might have corresponded to either the first coal mine to close in 1927 or possibly the great stock market crash of 1929. But we could not find evidence of when the office was first relocated to see which event sparked the move. The heyday. So, from 1913 through about 1927, the mining industry was doing very well. Even though there were a lot of mine strikes in Kentucky and West Virginia, along with several mining disasters, the coal mining industry was still proving to be a very stable fossil fuel-based economy. We do have video playlists on the coal wars and of the coal mining disasters and encourage everyone to please check them out. There were a lot of deaths associated with the coal mining industry as there was not a lot of legal protections for the coal miners. In next week's video, we will talk a little bit about World War I and how it helped the coal industry to boom, and how the invention of electricity also helped to increase the profits for the coal industry. We will begin to see the bust of the coal mining industry and how the first trouble began for the Elk Horn Coal Corporation with the closure of the Garrett Mine number 326 in 1927. Then on to the stock market crash of 1929 that caused a lot of coal mining industry financiers to go broke, and how the laws concerning the right to unionize would affect the coal mines. Thank you. Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the scandals of the Consolidation Coal Company. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.